Sir, your voice is not audible.
Sir, just a moment. Sir, clear or sir? Can you able to hear my voice?
No, sir, it's not audible, sir.
Sir, your voice is not audible, sir.
Just a moment, sir. Very good afternoon to one and all present here. Sir, now the voice is clear, sir.
No, sir, it's not audible.
Sir, now?
Yes, okay, sir.
Sir, very good afternoon to one and all present here. This is Srinivasan. I'm very glad to welcome you all for this wonderful session for understanding the employability. Sir, first of all, I thank our Almighty for giving this wonderful opportunity conducting to such a webinar in our organization, in our Vivekananda College, with collaboration with the IAC and the Mr. Shankar sir. I welcome Dr. N. Shankar sir for taking this seminar, webinar, the understanding the employability. I welcome you one and all for this session. So, Mr. Shankar sir, I welcome you, sir. So,
Thank you, sir.
and also students are instructed to interact with such a webinar and use this particular use this such a wonderful moment to know about our employability, and also we must know the sources for the employability. And also you are instructed to interact with the resource person and get more and more information from him. Thank you one and all. I welcome you all once again all for the wonderful session. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. Now I would like to invite Ms. M. Selvarabadi from 3rd Tubli to convey chief guest profile.
I'm tremendously overjoyed to take this opportunity to introduce our honorable chief guest of this wonderful session, Dr. N. Shekhar sir, academician and trainer. He had 30 years of experience covering industry and academics. Also has a teaching experience of students at various levels. He have worked with companies like Carborundum Universal Limited, Sundam Fasteners Limited, Railway Products Limited, and Buckler Limited. He worked with a reputed educational group handling entire gamut of HR and placement activities apart from teaching for MBA and BE students. He has freelancing experience with focus on procurement and training. He has published nearly 7 papers. We are very lucky to have him as our chief guest for this grateful session. Now I request Dr. N. Shekhar sir to take over his session. Please, sir.
Thank you and good afternoon. I am audible?
Yes, sir.
Audible, sir.
Okay. I first of all would like to thank the management of Sri Vivekananda College and especially Dr. Srinivasan, who has given me this opportunity to interact with the young minds of who are all the pillars of tomorrow. So I would like to welcome you all for today's session. So today, in between, if you don't hear me or when I ask questions, please interact. So today's topic is understanding employability. A very important topic, especially for the college students, companies, more so in this pandemic time. So how you get to employ, that's the main thing you have to know. So first thing, let me go to. Okay, we'll start with this quotation. Education is our passport to the future. for tomorrow belongs to the people who prepare for it today. So we are all from mostly middle class and lower middle class, except for few people. So we have to depend upon the education for our betterment. So whatever we want to achieve in life, education is our tool. So education is important and we are in the right track. Next, women education. This is a famous quote from our great monk Vivekananda. Educate your women first and leave them to themselves. Then they will tell you what reforms are necessary for them. In matters concerning them, who are you? So that's what you have to educate your women and leave them to decide their future. They are capable of doing that. So you are all doing that. Let us see how it goes. So this is our educational system. We all start with primary school, then go to secondary, higher secondary, and depending upon our economic background, our capacity, we reach up to PhD. So there are various levels of education. For some people, going to primary school itself is difficult because they will be in villages, they will not have proper roads, transport system. So they struggle to go to even primary school. And some are very lucky, they have all these convent buses and pick up and drop facilities. So all that, like that, some people struggle to complete their primary education and some people are well vested. So they reach secondary stage where they study up to 10th, and based on their marks in 10th standard, some will be joined in +2 or higher secondary, and from their graduation, post-graduation, depending upon the economic level and the student's capacity and the family background, various factors come into force. And in India, the percentage of people going beyond 10th and 12th standard is very less because it depends upon a lot of things, their family background, how students study during their secondary, higher secondary, their interest for studies, all these things matter. So with all this, they move to next level, graduation, post-graduation, and etc. So the gross enrollment ratio, that is the people who are up to 24 years, 18 to 24, who are able to go to university. This percentage is only 25 to 26% in India. For female, it is 25.4. For male, 26.3. This means out of every 100 students studying up to 12th standard, only 26 or 25 students only will go for higher education. That is various degree courses like BA, BCom, BSc, and engineering, science, chartered accountancy, various courses. Only 26 to 25% people are only lucky enough to go till this range. So you are all very lucky that you are admitted for engineering courses. So you should be very thankful to your parents, your teachers, your friends, your well-wishers, all those who helped you to reach this stage. And from here onwards, you have to make use of whatever opportunities available to you and achieve your goals. You have to have some goals like I have to become this, I have to become a automation engineer, I have to become a CEO, I have to become a quality head, I have to start my own company. Like this, you should have so many goals. I think you will be having such goals. And using education and the opportunities given to you, you have to achieve these goals. And now this, I am asking you this question. With this, we will start the presentation in detail. Why did you join engineering college? So I want you to just type in the chat. Why did you join engineering college? Can few people type in the chat box? Or you can turn off your mic and turn on your mic and answer. Why did you join the engineering college? Can few people respond? To be Priyanka, Selva Bharati, Ramya, Balambika, a lot of people are there. Can few of you respond? Why did you join engineering college? Either you can type it in the chat or you can just turn on your mic and answer. Few responses. Hello? Can I have few responses? Srinivasan sir?
ஏதாவது ஸ்டூடெண்ட்ஸ் வந்து இந்த சேட் பாக்ஸில் வந்து அவங்க நீங்கள் ஏன் ஜாயின் பண்ணீங்க இன்ஜினியரிங் அப்படின்றதுக்கு உண்டான ஆன்சர் சொல்லுங்கள். அப்படி உங்களுக்கு சேட் பாக்ஸில் டைப் பண்ண ரொம்ப இதாக இருந்ததுன்னா யூ கேன் அன்மியூட் யுவர் மைக் அண்ட் யூ கேன் ட்ரை டு ஸ்பீக்.
Due to parents' compulsion. Good. Next, Selva Bharati has replied. Very good. Next. Of course, I have a survey of why people join engineering. I want to know your reasons for joining engineering college. Type whatever is there, no problem.
Sir, we are expecting the more reply from the students, sir, not only from the Selva Bharati only. Students, whatever you are thinking, you can just type it in your chat box.
Just type.
Why you are joined in the engineering.
It will be very useful for taking them. Not much responses.
Any reply from anybody, students? Sir, students, just you can interact.
Joined by parents. Kavya has replied. Joined by parents. Now she is also interested. Very good. Next. Keep typing whatever you want. Why did you join the engineering college? Why you didn't join commerce or medical or some other course? Why did you join engineering? Are you very passionate about electrical engineering? Some reason you can give, no problem. Okay, a survey has been done. A survey has been done on college students, and these are the main responses why people joining engineering. They wanted to be an engineer. After 12th, the only option is either a doctor or engineer. They cannot get good marks to join doctor, so they become engineer. They are also not interested in BSc. Challenges, curiosity, excitement, money, travel status, and people think that they will get software jobs easily. They can go on projects abroad like that. To make a difference in the world, to change the way things work. They want to invent something new and make people's life easy. They want job in a big company so that they can get through campus placement. And somebody wants to become an entrepreneur. So these are the various reasons why people join engineering college. And why do people go to universities and for higher education? So all these reasons. See, any of these reasons match with your reasons. You are very passionate about the subject. You are interested in learning. You want to learn skills. You want to find a better job. You want to earn more money. So on and so forth. So many reasons for joining the engineering college. And do further education. These are the expectations from institutions and teachers. Students who have joined colleges, these are all the things they expect from the institutions they are joined and the teachers. So we all joined, we get the degree, and after degree what? The main thing is we have to earn our livelihood. At the end of the day, the true value proportion of education is employment. Whether it is working for a company or you are your own, you have to find an employment after you graduate. You cannot say, I have gained so much knowledge, I have so many skills, unless you gain your own employment and you find a livelihood, there is no appreciation from anybody for your degree. So employment is the ultimate, you can say so many things, but the ultimate objective of joining a college and getting a degree is employment. Work gives you meaning and purpose, and life is empty without it. So just imagine if you complete your graduation and you don't get any work and you have to spend time at your house. What do? Just imagine the situation. The people at your house, other ways, they keep asking you what are you going to do now, and all those questions. Apart from that, what will you do purposefully? You will not have a purpose for your life. Why do you get up in the morning? All those questions come. So work is the thing which is going to give you meaning and purpose for your life. Only if you have work, you get money, you can use your knowledge and skills, you can help other people. For whatever reason, you need to have work and employment. So which domains have more employable talent? So which degree, if you get the job fast? So these are some statistics taken out of surveys. So these are the various degrees: BE, BTech, MBA, BCom, BSc, MCA, Polytechnic, ITI, B Pharma. When you have finished your 10th or plus 12, plus 2 or 12th standard, you would have had this dilemma to take which branch. So you would have consulted so many people. So each one will give you different options based on their experiences, their understanding. So according to this survey, engineering has the highest employable opportunities according to this. So we'll see how it is. So engineers, which roles they fit well? IT roles are, engineering roles are, non-tech roles are. If you see IT roles, that calls for a different set of mindset, different set skills. If you want a core engineering job, you have to be a different kind of person. And if you are going for a non-technology role, you don't get any big jobs. You want to have some job, you go for a non-technical role. How do you fit? So for a BPO, engineers fit around 40%. For core engineering roles, maximum fitting is only 20%. For IT roles, the maximum suitability is around 36%. So this is how engineers are suitable for different roles. Next, when it's 100%, only 39%, 20%, 16%. So what will the other people do? If you only 39% is suitable for IT jobs, if they say, what happens to the other 60%? So according to a study by NASCAM, out of the engineers graduating, only 10 to 15% are readily employable. Out of the college, if you put them on job, only 10 to 15% can do the desired jobs. And around 25% they can be trained to do jobs. So 15, 25, 40. Another 60 to 55%, they require high levels of training and efforts to make them employable. So after graduation, if you go for training yourself for employability, that will become a big challenge for you. While in college, if you understand employability and start training yourself, that will be easy for you. That is the crux. Next, the traditional education sector is not evolving at the same pace as industry. So companies have different expectations, and graduates coming out of college, they are not.
Sir, excuse me, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, slide வந்து மூவே ஆகல சார். அந்த ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஸ்லைட்லயே தான் சார் இருக்கு பிரசன்டேஷன்ல. ஆமா, slide is not moving, sir. And also you can I think you are not put it in the slideshow, sir. It will be in the normal mode only, sir. That's why, sir.
1 minute, let me try again. Ipa?
Sir, sir, I think you left from the particular laptop. It will be left from the group, sir.
1 minute only. Ipa?
No, sir. Sir, now only it's presenting, sir.
Now it's visible, eh?
Now visible, sir. And also you can try to put it in the slideshow, sir. It will be in the topmost layers, slideshow. Or otherwise you can just press F5 to bring the slideshow, sir. Just press F5, sir.
Now okay?
Now okay, sir. But
Okay,
it will be in the normal
see
mode,
whether
sir.
the site is moving. It's moving.
Sir, it's not moving, sir.
What is the problem? I don't know.
I think you can put it in the slideshow, sir. Just you can press F5.
F5.
F5, sir. Function 5. Topmost buttons. F5.
It's happening now?
Sir, I think it's not in the presented mode, sir. I think you left from the Google Meet, sir.
Sharing, I think.
You can try to share 1 second, sir. Please, sir.
Now?
Sir, now only presenting, sir. Right, sir. It will be presented in the normal mode, sir. You can
Now
put it in the
slides are
slideshow, sir.
changing.
Slides are changing, sir. Right now.
Okay, that's a normal mode I'll do. Okay.
It's a normal mode, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay, so as many as 97% engineering graduates want job in either software or core engineering. Nobody wants to do other jobs. But only 3% have suitable skills to be employed. And only 7% can handle core engineering tasks. People are willing to do jobs, but they are not equipped to do jobs. So what is employment? Employment means you just have a job for which you get a job, or you do business and get job money. So this is employment. Then what is unemployment is you don't have a job which gives you money. That is, you are not productive. This is unemployment. So now we will go to the crux of the presentation, understanding employability. What is employability? So just having a job which gives you money is employment, and not having a job which gives you money and spending your time without any productivity activities is unemployment. So now we will do what is employability. So employability is a person's capability for gaining and maintaining employment. So after your graduation or during your final year of graduation, you should be able to get a job, and not only get a job, you should be able to maintain it also. That is, you continue to do the job well, get your promotions and all that. That is employability, continuously in job. Next, employability depends upon a triangle: knowledge, skills, and attitude. So you remember this triangle for the rest of our presentations. Knowledge, skill, and attitude. This is what you have to remember. And employability is affected by demand and supply from students or applicants' part, and its demand for recruiters, employers, economy. That means if for one job, if too many people apply, there are chances that you don't get a job or you will be paid less. So when the demand is less and the supply is more, you may not get the right kind of remuneration for the job you are doing. So this is also a problem. Next, what does the employability depend upon? It depends upon what you all, not what I know. Now, what you study in your college, that is very minimal. That is what tested in the interviews. That is just to know that whether whatever you have studied properly, you remember those things. And once you are in the job, the same things will not work for you. So you have to learn so many new skills, You have to change your attitude and you have to adapt to the job. That is more important. So employability is not only gaining knowledge, skills and attitude, but also adapting to the new job. That is more important. So HRD ministry has shared a lot of data. There are about 2.9 million students enrolled for the engineering courses, and out of this every year around 1.5 million, that is 15 lakh students get their degree in engineering, but due to lack of skills, they are not ready for the technical jobs. Only 20% are ready for the job. So the skills, attitude, knowledge. What is the skills, attitude, knowledge? So first we'll start with knowledge. Knowledge is nothing but your subject knowledge, physics, chemistry, mathematics. When you say electrical, your automation, circuits, all this is subject knowledge, which you gain from your school days to college and various seminars you attend. All this is knowledge. Next skills is study skills, time management skills, listening skills, focusing skills. These are general soft skills. Then you have hard skills, technical skills, all those. Next, attitude. Attitude is more important. How motivated you are, if you can manage your stress, are you interested in working, learning, and how confident are you? All these are attitudinal problems. So when you go for an interview, by seeing at you and just asking few questions, they may know your knowledge and skills. That is at the top portion. Regarding attitude, they have to do some deep penetration to know your attitude. They may have to do some psychometric tests, they have to do some group activities. All these things they have to do to know your attitude. For companies also, it's very difficult to find a person with right attitude, because if his attitude is okay, then only he can use his knowledge and skills. Unless attitude is good, you cannot use your knowledge and skills. So knowledge comes with learning. So what you learn in college and outside. Skills come from experience. Some skills like communication and all you can learn at college, but this technical skills and all you have to learn on the job during your internship or during projects you can learn. Attitude never comes, it is developed. You have to develop your attitude. You are responsible for your attitude. You have to be very polite. You have to learn. You have to put across your points to the top people, your friends, people working below you. You should be very polite and you should be very understanding with them. You have to be a team player. You have to be punctual. You have to be reliable. All these are attitudinal things which companies expect from you. So attitude is very important. Even if you have knowledge and skills, you don't have a right attitude, then that will be a problem. Next, skills can be taught and developed. Companies can train you on skills, but attitude, you have to observe yourself, receive feedback from your superiors, your team members, your parents, your relatives, friends, whatever feedback they give, you have to analyze that. And if there are any problems in your attitude, you only have to change. Next, knowledge. Knowledge is whatever this technical knowledge, you can see this thermodynamics, fluid mechanics, all these things, CAD, CAM, energy techniques, these are all things you learn through education, time and experience. Next, job knowledge. What knowledge you gain from college is different from what is job knowledge. Whatever knowledge you have gained in college, that you have to transfer into your job. This job knowledge, it includes work practices, policies of the company, safety procedures, resources, company laws, customer service, technical information. Lot of things are there in the job knowledge. Some examples are CNC programming, ISO, EHS, some quality procedures are this knowledge. Next, now due to the pandemic, you have to use various video conferencing tools. So that knowledge, all this comes under job knowledge. Next, these skills. What are the skills? Skill is the learned ability. Skill is what you do practically. If you continuously do a thing and achieve expertise in this, that is called skill. So employability skills are the skills you learn to gain employment and use there and achieve your job. That is employability skills. So as per the National Employability Report, engineers lack industry relevant IT skills such as artificial intelligence, machine learning, data science, wireless technology. All these are new skills which engineers don't learn. Next, only 4.6% of engineers only have these skills when they come out of college. So you have to, apart from your curriculum and your syllabus, you have to do some extra courses, 1 or 2 courses in your area of interest before going for employment. So these are the skills which will be very crucial and it will be demand by 2022. This is based on the survey by World Economic Forum. So these are the skills: analytical thinking, active learning, creativity, technology, design, programming, critical thinking, complex problem solving, leadership, emotional intelligence, reasoning, problem solving, system analysis and evaluation. So these are the growing skills, and whatever jobs you used to do manually, everything is getting digitalized now. So all those related jobs are getting no demand for that. Next, attitude. You have seen knowledge, skills, and next important is attitude. Attitude represents how a person thinks or feels about someone or something. Attitude is a person's mental outlook. So his education, experience, environment, all that decide the attitude. But a person has to analyze attitude and change it accordingly based on his jobs. So ability means what you are capable of. Suppose you are capable of designing a machine. Motivation is, even if you know the job, unless you are motivated, that is, if your superior praises you or gives you increment or some job satisfaction is there, then only you will do. Even if you know, you will not do. And attitude determines how well you do it. You have the ability, you are motivated, you go to do the job, but unless your attitude is good, you will not achieve 100%. So motivation is the, attitude is the most important thing. So these are the things that company expect from you, day-to-day jobs. These are 10 things, and for that you don't require any talent. These are all attitudinal things. Being on time, punctual. If the company starts at 8:30, so you have to go 5-10 minutes in advance. So that is being on time, making an effort. So suppose you see something, it's not available, you have to go and ask the concerned person or make some effort. Next, being energy, always full of energy. You cannot be very lazy, and you should not put a sleepy face. All that, your body language should convey energy. Next, you should have a positive attitude. You should always think you can do the job. Next, you have to be very passionate about your job. Unless you are passionate, you cannot daily go to the company, do your job. Next, using good body language. Suppose if you go before the superiors, in words you say, yes sir, I'll do it, but your body language should not convey the wrong meaning. That also should be very good. Next, being coachable. You should be ready to be coached by somebody. That is, you should be ready to learn new things. And you always do little extra. If they ask for 100%, you should do 110%, like that. And you should go prepared for your job. That means physically, mentally, emotionally, you have to go prepared to do the job. Be there for the whole day. Next, having a strong work ethics. You have to have a work ethics, means on time for the job. You should do the job fully. You should not share the job secrets to anybody. Like that, some work ethics will be there. All these should have. And all these 10 things, it does not require any big talent or skill. It is just your attitude. So now what I will do is, I will show you some slides which contains job requirements for new engineers. It is collected from different sources, from different company advertisements, from different internal job descriptions, something. So what I want to do is, you have to very carefully see these slides. Each slide, it will contain knowledge. What is the knowledge required for a particular job? Then what skills you have to have for that particular job? Then attitude. Now you must be having an idea for what job you are going to aim at the end of your career, or even if you are going to aim for a general electrical engineering or IT engineer job, no problem. You just carefully see this next 10 slides very carefully. At the end of the slides, I require your inputs. So what is the kind of job you are looking for, and what are the knowledge, skills and attitude which is required for different jobs? That means you prepare yourself for employability. So what is the kind of knowledge you have to gain? What are the kind of skills? What attitude companies expect from you? The transformation, company to campus to corporate. So if you have to go from the college to corporate companies for jobs, what are the various things required? So next 10 slides, I'll show each slide for 2 minutes, very leisurely. You can just go through that. At the end of the 10 slides, I'll ask you what you have observed. Then you have to give me feedback. So first slide, this is from Philips company for graduate engineer training. So these are the requirements. You just go through. So given job description itself is there, you carefully go through. Provide technical support, diagnose the failures, find out what's the most cost-effective way to come out of that problem. Then prepare a report, detailed report, why that failure has occurred. Next, you coordinate with different people to complete the task and support the field service, and do it everything in a professional way. So the slide is visible now, sir? Srinivasan, sir?
Yes, sir. Slide is visible.
Slide visible, sir.
Okay, you students, please go through the slides very carefully. At the end of that, I will ask you questions. Next, graduate control system engineers. This is from SEMA Automation Company. So see what they are looking for. They want strong communication skills, good industrial automation knowledge, ability to grasp quickly. So you should quickly understand the job and do. And they given various machines and automation software, something which you know. This is one job. Next, Mega Engineering. They are looking for graduate engineer training in safety department. They want students who can work anywhere in India. You cannot say I'll work only in my native, only in Tamil Nadu. Like that you cannot tell. They want people who are ready to relocate to any place. So this is the requirement. Apart from that, they want spoken Hindi and English spoken and written proficiency. They want to have a valid two-wheeler license. All these are the requirements. So carefully study. Knowledge is only BTech BE. Attitude, so much they want. They want good communication skills, both spoken and written. Both spoken Hindi, written English and Hindi. They want you to have a driving license. These are the requirements. This is the requirement. Next, for Nexus Automation, they want so you have to attend service calls. You are a customer service engineer. You have to have a good knowledge of electrical circuit and preparation and CAD. Next, PLC VFD panel. And you have to have a pleasant personality. That means not that you're You should be very beautiful and all. You should be very pleasantly dressed, smiling, approachable. That's what it means. Next, you have to take good initiatives and you have to have a good working attitude. So this attitude is asked here. Good working attitude means for a customer service engineer, what will be good working attitude? He has to speak to his customers pleasantly. He has to find out what is the problem from them. If he can solve it on the phone, he can solve it. Otherwise, he has to depute some engineer there or go himself. So this is the working attitude. Next, networking engineers. Maxair Studio International. So they want minimum pass percentage through academics. 10th, 12th diploma, they want minimum pass percentage. Should not be academic gap more than 2 years. They want good communication skills, especially English speaking. You should be willing to relocate anywhere in India. You should be ready to work in all the ships as per rotation. So this is the requirement. Next, design engineer. You should have excellent communication skills, ability to work independently with little supervision. That means you have to work on your own. You should not expect somebody to oversee you. You should be working in a team, multitasking, self-motivated with strong team spirit. That is, you should do your job and also work in a team. Next, you should have a very good attitude, enthusiasm towards work. That means you should go with very high energy. So these are the skills: problem solving, industry specific, pressure management, because networking means if the system is down, everybody will come after you. You should be able to handle that pressure. Next, teamwork, creativity, thinking, structural analysis, good communication, attention to detail, leadership. When there is some networking problem, you should be able to find the problem sitting out your desk. You have to speak to people. So whatever minute details they are giving, you should be able to grasp that. Then leadership qualities. Next, electrical engineering freshers. This is troubleshooting. So this is a core electrical job, I think. All those terms, breakdown, maintenance job. This is. So you have to know so many things. So apart from your technical things, see the last point. You have to know the quality things also. 5S, Kaizen, Pokayoka, OPL. All these are system quality process requirements. This also you should know. So for a fresher, so much. Next, graduate engineering training. So this is data collection, routine maintenance, testing, troubleshooting, service, skills required, communication, fast thinking, teamwork, physical conditioning, so on so. Next, for SNR transformers, for a transformer company, if you are interested in marketing career, then you have to go for this. What is the requirement? Engineers fresh from college willing to make a long-term marketing career, because marketing is a very different ball game. Everybody cannot shine in that. It requires some specific things. Selected candidates will be trained extensively and should be willing to relocate. And for in many advertisements, you are seeing this willing to work anywhere in India or anywhere in their offices. This is also a attitudinal requirement. Next, from Siemens company, you need a GET, must have 60% and above in all semesters. No backlogs, strong in fundamentals. That is, your core engineering concept should be there. Be a good learner, actively participating in ongoing projects. That means whatever projects you have done, you should have done it really. You should not take it from somebody. Next, you have to closely be associated with your manager to initiate, develop and recommend methods Next, assure compliance with all corporate and site policies. That means you have to be compliant to the corporate and site policies. This is the requirement. Okay, so you've seen all these jobs. Now can you list out some important skills and attitudinals given there? Students? Can the students list out what is the important skills and attitudinal requirements from various companies? You can just unmute your mic and present, or you can present it in the chat. What are the skills and attitudinal requirements given by various companies? Just whatever you have observed, you can just type. Students, can you just type? You have gone through at least 10 slides. So can you just type? What are the Selva Bharati, Kavya, Subhi, Priyanka, Ramya, Balambika, Kaushika, Lakshmi, Prabha, so many students are there. Can you type out the requirements? Whatever you observe. Just type out what you observe. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Can you all type out? Just type out what you have seen, some 10 slides, no? Just type out what you have seen. Here and there you would have picked one word or two words, no? You can just type out. Otherwise, how will I know that you have observed? No response, I think. Creative
Some
thinking,
students are
communication skills,
written with the
teamwork,
chat box, sir.
industry skills, leadership, good. Telsia has done something good. What about other students? Just type out what you have seen. What is the attitudinal things you have observed? Okay, next, campus versus corporate. So when you are a student, you have to study only for your exams. Even if you get your minimum marks, you will pass. whether you have to do maximum effort to fetch 100 marks, no compulsion. Next, per hour, how many hours per day you work, that is very limited. Next, you have to be on your own. You have to memorize and just mug up and get marks. Whatever you do, practically you do only 25%. You have to mind your duty only. Other students' work will not mind you. So like that you will be student. For example, in this webinar, if you don't want to reply, we cannot do anything. So like that, you can be there in student days. But when you go to corporate, every day is important for you. Every job you have to do with excellency. You have to put maximum efforts to get increment or promotion. Your productivity is important. Daily, you have to do a minimum job, and you have to be a team player. You have to be highly interlink. Next, you have to understand, remember, and utilize. You have done a job once, you have to understand how you have done. You should remember this and reproduce. Next, it's 100% practical. Next, you have to do different kinds of jobs, and you have to be highly competitive within the unit. If you want promotion, you want good increment, you have to compete with your team. So that's how it will be. You are very accountable. That is the change from campus to corporate. So getting hands-on experience, practical is important. Next, you should not limit your skills to engineering alone. You have to do a lot of presentations. You have to raise invoices. You have to do some admin job also. So for this, you have to learn Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. Apart from whatever other softwares you learn, you have to learn Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. And also for this pandemic, you have to learn video conferencing. Next, you should be a team player. You cannot sit alone and do your work. You have to work in a team. Next, you should know why you have become engineer and why you are studying. You have to constantly review why you are studying and go towards your goals. Next, you do some project, you attend some seminar, you do a course online. All these things you have to document, so that when you prepare your resume, it will be important. And when you go for interview also, it matters. So whatever your achievements, your courses, whatever you do, you just document. Next, you take care of the online resources. Use it to the maximum. Apart from your regular college learning, you can use all these online resources and get that extra things from those slides. You should have understood whatever things you have to do extra to get your job. So all those the courses, additional certifications, whatever required for your job, you can get online and keep it ready before you go to your job. Next, whatever you study, you remember only 10%. Whatever you hear, you get 20%. When you see, you get 30%. When you see and hear, it is 50%. When you discuss with people, and 70%. When you experience, you do it yourself and experience, that is 80%. And when you understand a thing, when you read it, discuss it, do it and understand, then teach it also to others, then only it is 95%. So whatever you learn, you tell your friends, peer groups, others, discuss with them. And if somebody doesn't understand and you have a good understanding, you can share your knowledge with them. Then only it will be full 100%. And all these things you have to take it seriously. Your summer internship, project, assignment, and whatever events that is happening in your college, and any fundraising and volunteering events, all these things during your college days, you have to take it seriously. And out of your college, you will not have opportunities for all this. So take it seriously. Don't copy some project and put it like that. You have to do a project and get experience. Next, how to enhance your employability skills. Volunteering, public speaking, professional networking, having a profile in LinkedIn, community development, and if you can prepare a blog or a video, you can make it. Then you have to find a mentor and who helps you in professional development. So what is participating in public speaking forums? In colleges, you will have various conferences and all that. You have to participate there and improve your communication. If you can write a blog, you can develop your writing skills. If you can prepare a video. Next, volunteering. You have to volunteer. That means you have to, on your own, you have to go and take some volunteering activities. That will help you. How it helps you is, it gives you some experience. It gives you references. You will get to know people from various walks of life. You can develop a network in your students' discipline. You can show your interest to other people. Working in a team improves your confidence. Next, if you do a project or a volunteering activity in your career line, it will be useful. Then people come to know about your skills. Then next step to volunteer is networking. So networking is you create a set of contacts that will help you in your job search, or if you want to start a company in your professional line, you have to build. This is a professional networking. Next, many jobs are not advertised. Most jobs are filled from relatives, friends, and acquaintances. So if you have a good network, you come to know about these jobs, then you can get it. So make a list of people who can help you and start networking with them. Now during this pandemic, you have a lot of time. So use your email, Facebook, telephone, and other socializing tools. Instead of doing some jobs which are not going to help you, do this proper professional networking. So why is network essential? You can exchange your ideas. You can get noticed. You can, only few opportunities are there now. You can get to know those opportunities. It becomes extra resource for you. Your self-confidence increases. You can develop long-lasting relationships. So these are the professional networks which are available. Institution of Engineers, Institution of Electrical Engineers, Institute of Chartered Accountants, and NHRD network. NHRD is the National Human Resource Development Network. That is, this is network of HR professionals. So when you are looking for a job or you have to know about companies, you have to face HR. So if you can become a member of this network and know about HR people, their activities, you can associate with them, then it will be very useful. So I am a life member of NHRD Hosur chapter for the past 15 years. I was secretary for 2 years, and I am still an executive committee member looking after industry institute interactions. So if you are nearer to Hosur, you can also try becoming a member. You can take advantage of this. And online networks, LinkedIn, Meetup, Zing, Bark, Opportunity, Jobcase, LunchMeet, Twitter threads, Facebook groups, Summary. These are all professional networking sites available online, which you can make use to increase your contacts and make yourself visible. You can also find a mentor who helps in professional development. So first of all, if you have a clear idea of why you are studying and what job you are going to do after your degree, then you can find a mentor who will help you in this. So having a LinkedIn profile is very important these days. It is very much necessary. This you can display in your resume also. So please develop a LinkedIn profile. Very clearly write in this what are your achievements, what are your qualifications, what other certification courses you have, whether you have done some voluntary work. All these things you put it in your LinkedIn profile, so that a lot of people will look at LinkedIn profiles to hire. So they can search for you there, and if they are satisfied, they will contact you. So build a good LinkedIn profile. If you don't have already, you go and start today building a LinkedIn profile. Next, engineering is science to find creative practical solutions for the problems. So it's a very noble profession. What you are going to do is a very noble profession. Then there are a lot of changes now in the industry. From industry 1, 2, 3, from manual jobs, you have come to automation. Now you are going to digitalization. Even the shop floor itself, the workplace, all these are changing. A lot of new things are coming. Artificial intelligence, cloud computing, system integration, big data, automation, connection, a lot of things are happening. So there are a lot of jobs in this area only now. And due to the pandemic, the digitalization is happening very, very fast. So you have to look at this. So with all this knowledge, you prepare yourself for employment in the post-COVID economy. The pre-COVID, whatever happened has differently happened. Post-COVID, things will happen very differently. You have to work from your home. A lot of digitalization happening. Whatever you are able to do offline, you should be able to do online. So like that, so many things are happening. So these are the main changes due to COVID. People are not hiring aggressively. They are exercising constraint. Next, digital transformation is happening very fast. And future top hiring sectors will be healthcare, pharma, e-commerce, retailing, manufacturing, education services, technology. No going back. So digitalization is happening very fast. Remote working, you have to work from home or from a remote corner of a office like that. Daily going to office, all these things will change. And you have to have a wider talent. And you have to have emotional intelligence or emotional capabilities to work under pressure, work with different people, help people. So all these matters. Next, the jobs landscape. What are the jobs that are going to be in demand in future? These are the top 10 emerging jobs. Data analysis and scientists, machine learning specialists, artificial intelligence, general operation managers, software application development analysis, sales and marketing, big data, data management, digital transformation, new technology. A lot of technology is coming every day. So you have to catch hold of a technology and become a specialist. Next, organizational development. Next, information technology. So these are the top 10 emerging areas according to World Economic Forum in 2022. So you are all mostly in second year, third year. By that time you come out of college or in your final year, these jobs will be in high demand. And also, retailing is e-retailing. That is, nobody wants to now go to big shops and all. Everybody wants to order online everything from vegetables to food thing. Everything is done online. So you will have a heavy requirement in e-retailing. So you have to analyze the present situation. So how you make yourself employable during the pandemic, you have to analyze the present situation. So it may take a while before companies get into their usual mode. You have to wait for some time before you get your employment or you get your jobs. Then accept current circumstances, because you cannot go out and socialize. All these things you have to accept. You have a lot of time now. So you want to do yoga, exercise and keep yourself healthy, meditation, and whatever courses you have to do, you can do now online. A lot of opportunities are available, and a lot of online platforms are offering different courses at a very economical rate. You can make use of that. You have to help other people and be confident. You learn new things, expand your networks. Now it is the time to expand your networks. Then you express your creativity. You can write a blog, you can do a video on COVID and whatever it is, and express your creativity and be very optimistic. That is, you believe that this thing will get over and everything will come to normal in say in 6 months, 1 year. You have to wait till that time, in a very positive mode. Get your degree, be ready for employment, and whatever things we discussed during this whole webinar, you just recollect and get yourself ready for the employment. The future is coming your way. It will take some time, but it will definitely come. Companies, economy will not be the same again. It will change, but it will come to a certain stage in a very short time. But when it comes, you have to be prepared. And I have also written a book, Getting Your First Job. This is a book written by me. It is available at Amazon Kindle for a very little price of $1. So anybody interested, you can go to Amazon Kindle and type this Getting Your First Job, and if you are interested, you can buy. So while preparing for this presentation during this week, this news came in the newspapers. So these two ladies, Sandhya Rasakatla and Yogeshwari Rane, they were appointed managers in underground mine at Hindustan Zinc. You know the working conditions in mines, no? Now a lot of people don't want to go to different jobs, ladies, all these things are there. But these people, they have proved themselves in underground mining activities, and they are appointed managers there in Hindustan Zinc. So trust you also do all those things and achieve your goals. Women are doing everything now, they are capable of doing. So I wish you all the very best and look forward to any questions now. And I want to keep in touch with you if you are willing. This is my email address and this is my LinkedIn. As I said earlier, all of you should have your LinkedIn account. So we can meet in LinkedIn. So that's the end of my presentation. If you have any questions, I can answer. Any questions?
Thank you, sir. Nice session, sir.
Hello.
Hello, sir.
சொல்லுங்க.
Nice presentation, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Any feedback from students? Srinivasan sir, any feedback?
Sir, thank you very much for your wonderful presentation, sir. You will share more much important points about the employability, sir. I very much impressed about your presentation, sir. Thank you, sir.
No
We are
feedback or
also
questions
keep in
from
touch with
students?
in the further classes also, sir. Thank you, sir.
No feedback or questions from students?
Sir, please wait, sir. Students, any one of you can say the feedback about our session, sir. Any one of you. You can unmute your mic and you can say your feedback. Students from second year or third year or final year.
Tell me, Kavya. Nothing is audible.
Sir, really the session is very useful for us, sir. Thank you for this wonderful session, sir.
Okay.
Any more students? Anybody from third year, sir? Third year or final year? So some of the students are giving the feedback in this chat box, sir.
Yeah, somebody giving yes.
They are finding some other way to give the feedback, sir.
Okay,
Because
I'll
we
give
are
you my email ID and LinkedIn profile.
okay,
You
sir.
can get their feedback. Thank you very
Okay,
much
sir.
for the opportunity, sir. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Every story has an ending, but in life, every ending is a new beginning. Now, I invite Ms. R. Sudiksha from 3rd to deliver the vote of thanks.
It's my great honor to deliver the vote of thanks for this event to all dignitaries assembled here. I thank to Dr. N. Shekhar sir who carried this session very wonderful. Also, I would like to thank our head of the department, Dr. B. Gopinath sir, for organizing this event for us. Also, I extended for your kind guidance. Also, I thank my dear friends for your kind patience for the whole session. Last but not least, I thank all of you for your wonderful presence. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, students, for your patience. Thank you. Thank you, one and all.